They're not writing any headlines. The top stories are yet to play out in the 50th anniversary running of the TotalEnergies ERDAC 24 hours.
To race the Nürburgring one day, it's my perfect dream.
Dare to dream. Become a race driver at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring.
Hello and welcome to our live stream powered by Hyundai Driving Experience. I'm your host Hannah Kim and we are back at our main studio here at the Center of 24 Hours of Nürburgring. I do hear that we had a very dramatic evening overnight, and also we're getting some rain in some parts of the racetrack right now, so we'll have all the updates for you. We have about 4 hours left of this race, and of course to accompany me, we'll have our co-hosts Elena and Charlie helping us out on the way as well. Now fans, you still have so much time to leave any comments or questions on our live chat. We are reading all of them, so please do leave any comments and questions and answer those quiz questions, because guess what? We're giving out taxi ride tickets, and also the grand prize will be none other than our N-Man's helmet. You know that performance blue helmet that he's been wearing? Well, it's autographed by all of our hosts, Elena, Charlie, and me, and also a lot of our Hyundai drivers, so stay tuned for that. We're going to announce the winner very soon. Here's what's coming up on this block. We're going to talk about how you could make your way into the MBR race and become a race driver yourself. We're also going to cover some techniques and tactics on the road, so stay tuned. Now, Charlie, please do give us an update on the rankings and what happened overnight. I hear it was quite dramatic.
Yes, during the night, hopefully and fortunately, all three cars have survived successfully. But, you know, as you can see, there's lots of things happening during the night session. So as you can see, there was a lot of incidents, crashes, and mistakes from other competitors. And definitely now I can see that there is less traffic than yesterday afternoon. But all three cars, you know, they showed great results during the night, and especially the VT2 class, the car was quite giving us thrilling drama during the night, because the car pulled back to the last position and then it climbed back to first position. And now the car has stopped for technical issues, but we are confident that we are able to get the car back to the track soon. And for the TCR class, yes, during the last night, the Elantra and TCR has showed a concrete the lead during last almost 60 laps and still leading the whole class. And more surprising thing is that the overall position of this car number 830 is now top 21. So it's the best record ever in the 24-hour race for the TCL class car. And also the number 831, the I-30 and TCR car is showing the great results so far. It's the P2 in the TCL class, but also it has shown the greatest and the fastest lap time during the morning session, which broke the 9 minutes barrier again. So its fastest time is now 8 minutes and 59 seconds. It's the fastest record in the current TCR class. The gap between the P1 and P2 is about 2 laps, and the car 831 is leading almost 2 laps against its P3 competitor. So since we have only 4 hours to go, the TCL class, probably they will show a great result at the end of this 24-hour journey. And we also need to look into the VT2 class, because still the drama is going on in this VT2 class with many issues. But, you know, that's what endurance race, 24-hour race is all about. And, you know, our teams can make it to fix it, and, you know, everything can happen during the last 4 hours. So now it's time to move on to another interview with the Hyundai Driving Experience driver, and Elena is waiting there. So let's switch over to Elena now.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you so much. And actually, we were planning to have sunny-sided interview, but the situation currently changed. Our car that used to be on position number 1 for the 3rd time just got off track through technical problems, and we couldn't be any more upset, right, Marcus?
That's totally true, Alina. Especially me, I'm really, sad about the situation. We fought really hard for the first position, and we planned already the next 4 hours. It's still 4 hours. The race will have 4 hours more to go.
And it's so disappointing because we were so close, and as I said, it's been the 3rd time that we made ourselves on first position. So do we have any chances left? I want to hear yes.
We are still fighting, that's a matter of fact. And the car will go back to the car park now, and we will try to fix the issue. And then hopefully, let's say estimated time, half an hour, we will go back on track, hopefully. And then let's see, maybe God has some more surprises for us, maybe rain or whatever, what would be good for us. And then let's see.
But this is like what car racing is about. It is still possible.
Yes, it is still possible. We are talking about the Korean hell, and this is the toughest and hardest 24-hour race. It's clear. Everybody.
Like for real, this is the toughest that you've ever experienced?
Yes, that's true. There's no other race with this. Yeah, it's never, nowhere in the world is another comparable race. It's the hardest one.
Is it caused by the track? Is the track so difficult?
Yes, the track is very difficult and very challenging for the cars, and as well, the whole field with all the other cars, all the other competitors. There are so many classes, GT3 classes, our VT2 class. Yeah. We are driving around 2 minutes slower than the GT3, and all together on one track, this is really challenging.
And after a challenging day like this, what do you do to ease your pain and to balance your mind after a day like this? How do you make yourself, into bed?
It depends on how the day ends. If it's a positive
You're
end,
smiling. You're like, okay, I have a special trick.
If there's a positive end, there's no pain, so to say. And if it's negative, tomorrow we will be really sad and one day off, but Tuesday, back on attack mode.
And did you sleep at all last night?
I slept 2.5 hours.
Where?
In a hotel.
Okay, and when did you wake up?
When? I wake up around 3:30.
Is that like a personal mantra or something that you do to motivate yourself in the morning?
No. I take a shower and then, refresh myself. Drinking a coffee and then let's go for work.
Only one?
Yes.
Are there any special things about the car, about our Hyundai car? Something that you really adore about it?
Normally our car, especially the Hyundai car, stands for durability, and we had some issues now with the wheel studs, now the 3rd time, and this is something what we need to fix, but it's not on a manufacturer issue. It is something what we made in our construction, but this is something what we need to fix in the future. So one weak point what needs to be fixed and needs to be improved.
And one more question, because our fans wanted to know, how high is the stress level of a car race driver? You seem pretty chilled, but like in general, I assume it is kind of high.
So most of the people are really experienced here, and normally if you go into the car, maybe you have, when you go out of the pit lane, you have a little bit stress, but then you should cool down.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do now. We cool down, we assume that we make it back on the top position. And
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We want you to keep your fingers crossed for us as well, and we get back to Charlie. Thank you, Marcus.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. So now I'm about to meet one of the professional drivers from the Hyundai Motorsport team, Mark Bussing. Please come in. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Charlie.
So how are you feeling today?
A little bit tired, definitely, after 7 hours of driving.
Yes.
But it's 4 hours to go, so still the job to do.
Okay. So we have spent 20 hours on the track. What was the hardest part so far to you?
The night is always a challenge. Yeah. I was driving in the full dark. It was not possible to take the transition.
Yeah.
So that was the job of Manuel. So I went just from full light in full dark.
Yeah.
But with my experience, I could handle it. But this is always something you need. Yeah, braking points, turning points, they're just looking different if everything
Right.
is dark around. But lovely to the fans, they put us a lot of LEDs and lasers, and
Right.
so we have at least a little bit of dimming light on the track.
Oh, high technologies. But do you prefer to drive in the dark or in the daytime?
No, I prefer to drive in the daytime, definitely. But the dark is part of a 24-hour race,
Right.
even with the colder conditions, which suits our car quite well. The car was pretty fast in the night, and we could make up a lot of advantage, gap, and yeah, in the end, we're leading.
Okay. The main topic of this interview is all about techniques and tactics. So we have prepared some questions for you. So the first question is, what are the best practice for this Nürburgring?
From my side, it's just driving on it. You know,
Yeah.
even if you take a road car, you're doing a track day, or even if you drive with the race cars, the best preparation. But you need always to be in good preparation to be fast on the track, because the track is changing every year a little bit. They always resurface 2 to 4 kilometers per year, and so lines are changing, curbs are changing, and older parts of the track get more slippery, so you always need to be up to date.
Yeah. So do you have any special exercise or training in order to prepare this 24-hour race?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not a marathon runner or something like this, but I'm driving for fun enduro bikes, which is a really good practice for the muscle
Enduro bikes?
tonus. Yeah.
Wow.
And as well a lot of bicycle. You know, just driving with the bicycle in the mountains a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot, to be prepared to have a good heart rate in the car.
Okay. What are the best pit stop tactics?
It's quite easy, as long as possible, staying out, to have not so many pit stops. So every pit stop too much is losing time on the track.
Yeah.
So we always try to make 8 laps out of the tank.
8 laps.
So if you're a bit lucky with code 60, stuff like that, and fuel saving is working for the driver, you can do 9 laps, but we did it once and we had only 2 liters left in the tank. So you see, we try always to be really hard on the limit.
Now, have you ever think about putting the eco mode on the race car?
This is what we do. This is we call it lift and coast.
Yeah.
That means before the braking point, just let's say half a second, you just go off the gas, and the car goes in like sailing mode, and this already helps to save you some fuel, and you're losing not so much time. So that's definitely a strategy we use for that.
Okay, so there's kind of a connection between the race cars and the production cars.
Like always, especially in the TCR cars, they are really based on the production cars with the dimensions, and we try to show what is possible.
Okay, how long or how much time does a perfect tank and pit stop take?
I really have to say I need to ask my engineer for that, but the thing is, it is by regulations that you have not an advantage. The pit stop time is connected to the laps you're doing. If you do 7 laps, you have to stop for this or that time, which is written in the regulations. That the fueling is not, let's say, the advantage or not, because you still have cars which using more fuel or less fuel. And they want the real sport on the track. For that, they say 7 laps is, I don't know, I think 1 minute 45 seconds. The pit stop needs to be pit out, pit in.
So in case of the double stints, you still stay in the car during the pit stop. So what do you do during that pit stop?
Adjusting myself a little bit, the belts, tighten the belts again, checking the radio, drink something. We have your drink system in the car, which is connected to the helmet. And we have here some displays as well, which are supporting us. So sometimes I delete the predictive lap time so that I can be like on the new conditions, that I can work with plus and minus in the lap time.
So how do you feel when you see that the crashed car on the track or a car being wrecked and being towed on the truck?
Hopefully it's not a Hyundai, then everything it's quite okay. The first thing is you always look how bad is the damage.
Yeah.
And with my experience, you normally can already see that in most of the cases the driver is okay. This is the most important thing.
Right.
It's always bad if it happens, but it is part of the racing. We have just seen in the highlights, it just happened in my last stint, just one car ahead of me.
Just in front of you.
Yeah. Porsche Cup car. I let him go.
Yeah.
And on the way down to Flansgarden 1, I was thinking, oh, this will not be good for you. And then he jumped on the curbs and the car landed pretty hard and he lost it completely.
Yeah.
And he went from the right to the left. But yeah, bad luck. But it's like part of the game of a 24 hours to finish first. First you have to finish.
Okay. So let's say about Porsche Cup cars. Like for instance, let's say that you see that higher class race cars, such as like GT4 cars, the Cup cars, they are slower on the corner than TCR, but sometimes faster and straight. In that case, do you try to overtake it or not?
Of course. I mean, we had unfortunately, we got a penalty due to a technical issue in qualifying. We had to start from the last place in our starting group.
Right.
So I had exactly this situation in my first stint that I was much faster in the corners and I was able to clear them on track. But then a Cup Porsche, you need to understand, this car has 520 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's nearly double from our car, and he's slower than us in corners.
Yeah.
And then all the other cars catch up the gap, and then they just go on the throttle on the straight and pass me again. But then we changed the strategy. We reduced the length of the stint by 2 laps to get out of this traffic, that I can just run.
Okay.
You know, it's like the undercut. You know, then I was able to run faster.
Yeah.
And then as they did their pit stop, I could overtake them without the real fight on the track.
Okay. So how can the weather be technically used to get an advantage during the race? And especially, it seems like it's raining from now on.
The problem is with the Nordschleife, with this 24-kilometer long track, you definitely have parts where it is raining, sometimes heavy raining, and here it's completely dry. So it's really hard to make the right decision. We are working with this apps which showing rain, but it's in the end the driver needs to drive the car. And I mean, if you have standing water, you can't survive with the slicks. But half of the track is dry, so you destroy the rain tires there. So it's really a hard decision. You cannot really say it's part of the tactic, but it's part of the race, and you just have to handle it. And in the end, to be honest, you need a bit of luck as well with the decision.
Okay. Do you prefer the dry condition or the wet condition, or even the icy condition?
Sometimes we have some hail or snow here as well on the track. I like the rain if it is full wet. You know, rain tires, good setup. Especially our Hyundai Elantra is an absolute beast in rainy conditions. The car has so much mechanical grip, which even some GT3 cars are suffering.
Really?
And so if it's full wet, it's cool, but this is not really often happened. You know, you have always this mixed conditions more. So the dry is more predictable in the end.
Okay. So last question: how much percentage of the thing what you learned from the Hyundai driving experience can you apply to this racetrack or racing?
I mean, in the end, everything, because it is quite a good program, which is coming from a lot of real racing experience. And then as a coach, you can transport that, and you need to do it again and again and again, because you explain things, people hear it, but they listen, but you need, you know, it's like exercising. You need to train again and again, and there are so many variables on driving a race car. Driving a fast lap is one thing. It's a good basic if you are fast for one lap. But the real deal is to be fast in traffic situations. You know? And this is something we can teach with the V-Box system we have in the car and with videos from the driving. And so it's definitely a good preparation. And if you go through it, you are prepared.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mark. I know you are very exhausted, but I wish you the best luck for your last stint. Okay. This was the Mark Bossang. Now it's time to switch over to Elena.
Well, Charlie, that was quite a lot of knowledge. And if you guys want to perfectionize your own knowledge, you can do that at the Hyundai driving experience. So let's have a look. Ja, was? Ich dachte in 5 Minuten. Okay. Dich kennenzulernen. So, I'm having a huge influencer, a motor racing influencer with me. Hi, may you introduce yourself?
Ja, ich bin die Anni, ich bin 27 Jahre alt und ich wohne tatsächlich auch an dem wunderschönen Nürburgring in Adenau und ja, freue mich heute hier zu sein.
So her name is Anne-Sophie, she's 27 years old and she actually lives close to the racing track. Where exactly?
Adenau.
Adenau. How do you feel today? Are you excited?
Yes, of course. So it's 24 hours race and yeah.
What kind of car racer are you?
So,
I thought you have experience with racing yourself, right?
With a Hyundai driving experience as well.
How was it?
Super nice. It was so cool. So yeah, I want to do it again.
And what's your favorite racing track?
Nürburgring as well, and Monza. Yeah, super cool.
And how did you get in touch in first place with racing?
Sorry?
How did you get in first? Wie bist du zum ersten Mal in Kontakt gekommen mit Motorsport? How did you get in touch with racing in first place?
Mit Hyundai Driving Experience, also wir waren ja eben auch in Monza und das war einfach super cool. Da konnten wir nochmal, also jeder, der noch nicht vorher auf einer Rennstrecke war, einfach selber auch nochmal Erfahrungen sammeln auf der Rennstrecke. Also es hat natürlich unglaublich viel Spaß gemacht und auch durch die N-Community, durch Social Media kommt man natürlich auch damit in Verbindung.
So her actual first touch was the Hyundai Driving Experience, which is of course ideal. How many lessons did you take?
Wir haben 2 Tage gehabt. Also es war ja beispielsweise in Monza einmal mit der Hyundai Driving Experience und da haben wir eben verschiedene Manöver gelernt und ja, konnten ganz viel mitnehmen.
So she had 2 days of the Hyundai Driving Experience and she learned so many things about it. What was your favorite part?
Ich glaube, Slalomfahren war zum Beispiel sehr cool, aber auch die Agentenwende. Also das war halt was ganz Besonderes, was man vorher noch nie gemacht hat. Also machst du ja im normalen Straßenverkehr auch nicht und da hat man sich schon gefühlt wie im Actionfilm teilweise auch einfach mal selber mit dabei zu sein. Also es sind Gefühle oder Erinnerungen, die vergisst du halt nicht, ne?
So the way she was passing the streets, the racing tracks, for example, the slaloms, that's something that you never experience on a regular street and she felt like she'd be in an action movie. Do you have a favorite racing track, something that you would take over if you could choose any in the world?
Ja, Nürburgring.
Really?
Ja.
Do you know why they call it the grüne Hölle?
Ja, es ist ja die anspruchsvollste Strecke, wenn man es so will, ne? Auch die längste. Und es ist einfach, man sagt immer, ja, fühlt sich an wie Achterbahnfahren. Es ist tatsächlich so, gerade durch die Höhen und Tiefen. Also es ist was ganz Besonderes.
So she said she has an explanation why they call it the green hell. It's something really special, and of course it's super challenging and dangerous. Now we have to move away.
Und natürlich durch die wunderschöne Natur, ne, die man halt ja auch hier eben hat. Das ist natürlich auch was Außergewöhnliches.
And of course the breathtaking nature around that racing track is something very special. I have one last question. What was special for you? What are your experience with the new Hyundai N-Series?
Natürlich erstmal die Schnelligkeit des Autos zu erleben, alle Vorteile zu genießen und ja, das Auto kennenzulernen, also schneller als andere zu sein. Und man geht natürlich auch mit einem besseren Fahrgefühl, also mehr Sicherheitsgefühl eben auch aus dem Ganzen raus.
So she learned a lot about herself as a driver through that experience. Are you a better driver now on the street with your own car at home?
Ja, definitiv. Ja,
anything you do different?
Zum Beispiel lenken oder auch mehr auf die Reifen achten. Wir haben natürlich auch sehr viel über das Verhältnis des Reifens gelernt, also wie verhält sich ein Reifen bei welchem Wetter. Also man nimmt wirklich sehr viel mit, das ist wirklich unglaublich. Also dieser Spaß, den man dabei hat, aber auch das Wissen, was man da mitbekommt, das ist einfach super gut.
So she literally became a better driver. She knows how to control the wheel, everything about her own car in private through that lesson. So you would recommend it to everyone else out there, right?
Ja, aber absolut, definitiv.
Look at her eyes are glowing in that moment while she's talking about it. I can really tell that you have a life-changing experience.
Ja, absolut. Also immer wieder, ich kann es nur jedem empfehlen, absolut buchen.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure meeting you. I give back to you, Hannah.
Welcome back, guys. You might recognize him if you watched our Korean session last night. But joining us in the studio, we have Jia Chang, team leader of driving experience and motorsports team, to give us more insight about the N car. Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning, Hannah.
Oh, it's good morning.
It's good morning.
Good afternoon now.
Oh, yeah, it's good afternoon. Okay.
How are you? We met each other last night around like 1 a.m. We interviewed you in Korean during our Korean session. A lot has happened since then.
Yeah, a lot of drama, and but the lucky is the car is still alive, and now we're leading the TCR class and also the B2 class. Already Charlie talked about it, but we have a little drama, but still we are in the race. So nothing finished. Maybe after 4 hours, then we'll see the result.
I know. I'm like kind of happy there's only 4 hours left.
Oh, okay.
There's only 4 hours left, less than 4 hours now.
Okay.
Now, today we brought you in, Mr. Chang, to talk a little bit more about the N model. So my first question is, what's so unique about the N car?
Okay, so unique about the N car is this is already half race car. So this is we use this car as a daily sports car. But at the same time, this is capable of the racetrack. So we can have both capability in the same car. This is one of the best thing we can have in this production car in the market. Okay.
So you can almost use it as a daily car, and it's also a race car as well. How cool will it be to just be on the road with these race cars? It's just so beautiful. Are there any factors Hyundai had to consider when developing the i30N?
Okay, so those racer capability was one of the elements we start developing this car. So that's why we developed from Namyang to the Nürburgring, this circuit. So this is one of the elements we started. And also, this is daily sports car. So a lot of fun factors are already in this car. So like exhaust sound is really amazing. When you do the gear shifting and also the balance and the braking itself is already a very daily sports car. So you cannot drive like in a race car in a normal road. But at the same time, you can feel a feeling of those like a vibe in the road car. So this is really amazing car you can have in a daily life. So
when you're driving, let's say the i30N, what's something that you could notice right away?
Okay, whoa, so that's...
Besides the sound, of course.
Okay, so sound is great, but one thing great is like this is when you go into the corner.
Right.
This is, the car balance is really amazing. So when you get into the corner, sometimes you feel dangerous, like this car doesn't support you.
Right.
So then you have to pull off the gas, or you're gonna go into the early brake. But this car, you have like a faith and it supports your feeling of the driving, and you can get into the corner like very aggressively, but still the car is in your control. So this is one of the great factor of this N version of the cars.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, actually, we got a little bit of rain on the racetrack.
Okay.
We got a little bit of rain, right? But everyone was like, it's okay. Hyundai cars are safe. Hyundai cars are safe, right?
Okay.
I'm just like, oh, like 강변이 프로님, like I'm so worried about the rain. What's gonna happen to our racetrack drivers? But then everyone's like, don't worry.
Okay.
Hyundai cars got this. What do they mean by that? Can you tell us the
I
specifics?
think our driver Mark already talked in before with the Charlie. So our car is also, this is basically front wheel drive. But more than that, we developed this car with the more support of the differential, the balance, and the braking also. This all three merged into make some kind of those control possible. So even if the rain situation with the low grip and some kind of like tricky moment, but still those of electronic controls and everything supports like damper and differential, everything is control mixed to support your driving. Yeah.
And we do have this new program, the NBR race program, right, that we want to launch. Why is Hyundai i30N the perfect car for everyone who wants to get into race car driving, the perfect car?
Okay, so as you can see, we have a BT2 class car. Basically, we don't change anything from the normal production car. So which means it's already a race car. The product car is already a race car. We only did is like we put some safety roll cage only, and we just get rid of the unnecessary part, which is not needed for the race situation. So the N car is already a race car. So this is a best car in a price-wise,
Right.
or to practice to get into the race career. So this is a very good starting point to start with the N car. So nothing is like the N car in the market. So you can have a more like pricey car, but still the N car is the best car to start your career with this car.
Yeah, you were mentioning it a little bit before, but you could kind of change the parts.
Yep.
For all N models, which technical parts are freely modifiable? For example, the suspension.
Okay. So there are a lot of tuners changing this fantastic N car, but the car itself is already perfect. We think it's already perfect. Like we developed a very long time, tested very long time. So there is nothing much we have to change, but a lot of tuners love this car because this car have a lot of potential because of the balance and the chassis itself can tolerate those tuning spec. So a lot of tuners are very excited. There's not like this kind of car in the market. So they bought the car and they tune up with their own taste. So this is in the market nowadays, and also somebody race tune this car to their own race purpose in the market. So you can do everything with it, but the car itself is really perfect. So.
You can modify this and that. Can I modify my N with, let's say, racing seats and safety cage?
There are already some race seat and roll cage are already approved for the safety in this, like in Germany, like tough, like a certificate is already done. But still, you can add your own like a racing seat, and also the roll cage applied it. But still, you need to have some like a government like safety check also. But after that, it's free to go. So.
And since we do have you in the studio,
Okay.
I was wondering, Mr. Chang, if you can kind of elaborate on this NBR race program for us a little bit.
Okay, now we, after this race, we developed this BT2 class. This is going to be a cup car. So this is the starting point of this is a car you're going to start with the race career. It's capable of it. It's already developed for the like Nürburgring BT2 class. So there's no, if you buy this cup car, there's nothing much you can do. Like it's already a race car.
Right.
So it's really convenient in the market. But when you go to the driving assistance program, we have a Nürburgring 24-hour race program. So we're gonna let you know how to start the race from the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any experience with driving, how to drive and how to steer or how to brake. Those basic stuff we will do in the level 1. And then when you go to like a more like a severe level, and then they train like in the real race situation. And then actually in the last time, you'll have a chance to get used to this Nürburgring circuit. So when you combine all of those factors, now you're ready to race in the Nürburgring, and you will have a chance to get to have a Nürburgring race license.
Right.
And then after that, you'll be in the 24-hour race next year.
So from a non-professional standpoint, what I love about this program is, let's say you want to pick up soccer, right? Your gym teacher, your physical education teacher would probably be like, oh, he has some potential in playing soccer. If you're good at music, if you're good at art, someone will notice your talent there, right? But you don't know if you have the talent or not unless you really have a passion for motorsports, right? So I love this program that there's no bar to entry. Anyone can do it. Gender doesn't matter, height doesn't matter, weight doesn't matter. If you're interested in motorsports and you want to give it a go, or maybe like you're just a good driver in general, right? And you were like, oh, I want to get some training. It's a good program and a great way to start.
Yes, that's why we started this HDX program. Hyundai Driving Experience is all about it.
Right.
So to let the people have more experience and more training to have more confidence in their daily life. And now we are offering you about being a racer. And also in the 24-hour race of Nürburgring, this is one of the dream of every amateur racer to become a professional racer in the end. So we are offering you, just please challenge about it. So dare to dream.
I think it's wonderful. I think it is. I am, honestly speaking, I would be a little scared to be driving in Nürburgring.
Yeah, as you can see, this is
it's
really
a very dangerous racetrack, even for professional drivers. But still, it's an experience. I mean, I could just go 60 kilometers, right? All right, guys. Mr. Chang, thank you so much for joining us today. However, the interview does not end here. We have questions from our fans on our live stream. And to help us out, we have Elena, who's on standby. Elena, are you there?
Elena, who's not only on standby, but out of breath. Hannah, you said it yourself. Racing at Nürburgring is wild, and broadcasting from Nürburgring as a TV presenter can also be wild. I'm sorry for that situation right now, but this is live TV at its best. Mr. Chang, we have some questions for you from all over the world. And fan question number 1 is a Hyundai i30N ready to use as a racing car from second one on, or do I have to modify anything?
Okay, that is a very good question. I think I already said, but this Cup car, we developed the Cup car perfect for ready to race. So there is nothing much you can modify from as a race car. So this is a very good beginning point to start the race. The hardware is already there. The rest of it is software. You become a racer, then everything is already done. Okay.
Thank you so much. And what was the most dangerous situation in your whole career?
Actually, I'm not the race career. I just do the 15 years of motorsports planning.
Yeah, I know, but there must have been dangerous situations,
I worked
right?
with the TCR project from the company. So as you can see, Mark Bessang is one of our Nürburgring driver. So I met many like a famous driver like Gabriel Tacquini and also the WRC driver. So my career is like with those great drivers, we developed our N car together and also the race car together. So we made the M car from the race capability out of the real race. So that is my career, which I think we contributed to our brand. So I'm really proud of it. Yeah.
And when did you start working in racing?
Pardon?
When did you start? How old have you been when you started to work in car
Okay,
racing?
so this is I started 17 years ago. It was also Nürburgring 24-hour race. I started my first motorsports career. So at the time I was junior and I have no experience at all. But now, after 17 years old, now I'm here with all our Hyundai members in here and also our fans and from all over the world. So we have also a great car and a great product and all TCR car and the Hyundai Driving program. So I'm really proud of it. Those all 17 years of experience now become one of the a recognizable program in the world. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chang. It's gorgeous to have you here. We continue with our last education video.
So being a fast driver on the Autobahn is not enough to be a fast driver on a racetrack. So many people which are thinking, yes, I'm really fast and I have a strong, powerful car in normal public roads, thinking now I'm a race driver. No, that's absolutely wrong. So being a race driver first needs car control. And you can get the car control if you are coming to us, to the Hyundai driving experience and doing a driver training. There we talk about the basics. Having the right seating position, having the correct steering technique, learning how to brake in a proper way. So all the things are the basics. Then we are talking about the ID line. Because often people which are first time on the racetrack do not know exactly how can I use the whole track width. Yeah, they are coming from the middle and not using the whole track width. At the exit, for example, they're not using the apex points. And all these things which you need to understand the ID line, you can learn, for example, in our level 1 course. If this works very well and you are interested to do more, you can go into the level 2. In level 2, yes, we're working again on the ID lane, but more detailed and also with higher speeds. So the challenge is more, and also we are working more on the car control with special exercises, with higher speeds, with movements in the car. And if you have these basics done in a proper way, then you can start thinking about going on a racetrack with a race car. Then you can have the contact to a race team, and then you do some test rides with a race car on a racetrack, because in a race car, everything feels again different like in a standard car on a racetrack.
Guys, you're already familiar with our quiz. You know that here we have amazing prizes to win. And now I have something very special for you. As you can see, Ant-Man went around through the Nürburgring and he collected autographs for you. This is going to be one of our prizes in our quiz. And I promise the question that I'm going to throw to you is super simple. And I have 2 optional answers for you already. So the question will be, what adjustments can you make in the i30N? Possible answer number 1 would be limited slip differential, or B, the horsepower. So to participate, please put online an Instagram story on your personal profile. Use the tag Hyundai driving experience. And this is literally all you gotta do to participate at our fabulous quiz and win these helmet or 2 other great prizes. Yeah, while I'm still here, maybe I can participate at that quiz as well. I think I'm going to do a story right now. I'll go back to Hannah, and I'm going to do that story now because I want to win that helmet.
Thanks, Elena. Fans, once again, our slogan for our live streaming is Dare to Dream. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking for people all around the world. We're looking for regular people to be race drivers here at Nürburgring. This is a new program called the NBR Race Program under Hyundai Driving Experience. So basically, anyone can become a racer, even me and even you. If you have always been interested in driving and you think you have potential, if you think you have talent, give it a go. Now, fans, don't forget to have your answers in for the quiz question. Elena was giving out that quiz question before the next block begins, because we are giving out those N taxi ride tickets, and also we're giving out the grand prize of the helmet, the N helmet with all of our autographs on it. That's all I have for you right now. I'll be back in the last block. Oh my goodness, it's almost over. It is almost over. Don't go away. I'll see you soon. Dare to dream.
Okay, so this is the end. And as you can see, and now you can listen to what N-car sounds like.
Oh. Oh.
Rev it more, rev it more. So.
That's awesome!
to race the Nürburgring one day. It's my perfect dream.
Dare to dream. Become a race driver at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring.